In this course, we will be building a logistic regression model which will help us in sentiment analysis. In real life, there is abundant text data coming from various sources like Instagram, Facebook, blogs, compendiums, etc. Now we can actually harness this data and actually solve a lot of real life problems using them. We are starting with importing libraries, and as you can see, we have NLTK library which will be used in sentiment analysis, and we have Ray library which is used in string manipulation. The next thing you can see is something called NLTK.corpus. Now this corpus package actually holds data set which are used for maybe text analysis, for maybe training models, for maybe finding inferences. So it has a lot of data, and from that we are finding our Twitter samples dataset. So this has positive tweets and negative tweets with its class labels, that is positive and negative. The next you can see is NumPy, which is used in array manipulation or array handling, integer and maybe uh, manipulating float values. The last is Pickle. So Pickle is actually used to load and store our model or maybe some important data from the disk. So before we move forward, I would like you to go once at this link and see how logistic regression actually works and what is the math behind it. Since we are building a logistic regression model from scratch, this would be the needful. So with this, we come to the first part, that is processing tweets. So I've built a function named process tweet, which is actually doing three things simultaneously so that I'm able to pre-process my text data. Now, first of all, you can see I'm using the layer library and using the sub function. So sub function is actually like looking out for strings and removing the unwanted part. Let's say the string or maybe the text data has numbers, special symbols, or maybe URLs present in them since they are tweet. So we are removing all of that. And another last you can see is a basic example of how I am removing the hash symbol. After that, you can see the tokenizer or tweet tokenizer. So tokenizing is a function where we take a string as input and return a set of words that were in the string. For example, you can take a string, let's say, I am learning. So the output of my tokenizer would be I am learning. So it would be a list of 3 words that are I am learning. And we are using that function. So now you can see the next thing is we are using a for loop for further cleaning. The next thing you can see is a stemmer.stem function. This is basically I'm building an object of the Porter stemmer class and then using the function stem in it. Now let me just tell you what this stem function does. Let's say you have a word that is learning. So if I send this word into my stem function, it would give me learn. Or let's say the word is works. If I put this into my stem function, it would return me with work. So you can see that the base word may be used actually removing all the suffixes from the word, it is returning me. So this is what stem function does. Now the next part comes is building build freq function. So what we are doing in build frequency actually build freq function is finding how many times each word has come in my vocabulary, that is in my corpus, and in the or maybe the data set, and what it is having its class as. Meaning, let's say the word was learning. Okay, the learning maybe have come in the corpus say 12 times. Okay. And each time it has come in a positive tweet. So the learning will have a positive class, that is, let's say 1, and has come 12 times in my corpus. So that is stored in my Frix or maybe frequency dictionary. You can see that the dictionary is being called out here. And the positive or negative class is sent in my bias variable. You can see that it has an mx1 array Cartesian with the sentiment label of each tweet, that is either 0 or 1, taking 1 as my positive class. Now you can see that how this function is working. Let's say this was my whole corpus, meaning this was my whole data set. Okay, so now it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences. Okay, and for each sentence there is a class defined, if it is a positive or a negative tweet. So I can see that I am happy is a positive and the rest are negative. I'm tricked, obviously negative. I'm sad, again negative. So you can see that once I'm sending the tweets and wires into my build frequency function, it is returning me with a dictionary having the word, having the class, and the number of times it has occurred. You can see that happy has occurred only once, so it's showing 1. But you can see that tire is actually uh, being here, tired. Yes, I am tired and I am tired 2 times. So it has given me 2 times with a class of 0. Now this might occur that while working on the code again, you might be asked to download Twitter samples and stop words. So just uncomment this part and download both of these data sets because they will be used later on. As you can see in my process tweets function. Yeah, so this is the part where we're calling out the data set and storing it in the variable all positive tweet and all negative tweets. Again, we are just splitting the data for making it into a training and testing class. Now this is just accumulation of all the training data and the same for the testing data. Now you might be a little confused as to what we have done here. So we are actually building our target variable. How? It is like we're building an array which is storing all the class values, the 1 and the zeros. Now, since I already know that I first inserted the train pos, meaning the positive tweets in my train x, so the here in my y or target variable, I'm storing that number times of 1. So this is the code for that. The similar I'm doing for the number of zeros. Now, once this has already been done, what I'm doing is using my build frequency function. I'm calling it frequency from now on. So build frequency function to use it and build my features from the actual data set. What we had done above was just using a very small sample to understand what the function was doing. Now we are doing this for the whole data set. You can see that the frequency is a class dictionary, and from here you can see that how many number of words are present in my corpus or data set. So we have 11,346 words. Now you can see that this is the actual tweet inside my data set, just one of them, which is maybe the username. Yeah, suppose she was lol and something. So after my process tweet, it is giving me yeah, suppose, lol, chat, bit, x, and a smiley face. So you can see that from this unprocessed data, we have this processed data. You might be thinking, suppose it doesn't have an E at the last. So this is because we have been using the stem function. Now what stem function sometimes does is it isn't able to totally understand the base word, and sometimes remove maybe the last few characters, let's say, with the suffix itself. But again, it understands what this word means. So unlike most, we will actually build a logistic regression model from scratch. And the first thing we do is implement a sigmoid function. Now, if you know the formula of sigmoid function, you will understand clearly what has happened here. We're just taking the negative of z, that is the input, and then we are taking the exponential of my new negative input and using it to get my sigmoid. If you don't understand this part of the code, I urge you to go back to the top and use that link and understand what logistic regression is and how the math behind it works. Now, the next part is gradient descent. So before understanding what has been done here, why has it been done here, just understand what the inputs are. X, matrix of feature which is of the order m and n plus 1. The next is corresponding label of the input matrix X. This is like a matrix holding all of my data set in rows. Say tweet number 1 is in row number 1, tweet number 2 is in row number 2. And for the same, there is Y, meaning tweet number 1's class, that is maybe 1 or 0, is in Y's first row. Similarly, in the second row, and so on. Now, there are two new terms, theta and alpha. So, theta are just the weight of the dimensions. Before we move forward, just understand the input this function takes. Now, this function, gradient descent, takes x, y, theta, alpha, number of iterations, that is num iters, as its value or as its input. So the x is a matrix of features that we have been building above, having an order of m, n plus 1. And then y is the corresponding label, meaning 1 or 0 are stored in this y correspondingly for x, having a dimension of m, 1. Theta. Now, theta is the weight vector, meaning the weights of this corresponding matrix of x, where weights are usually, if you have already understood logistic regression, are the like like here you can see this b1, b2, b3 are the weights for my feature set x1 and x2 here. So this is what we have been actually computing in my gradient descent function. Now simply you can see that we are computing the cost and the theta. Now the formula for this is, as you can see, the cost having my hypothesis and my actual class label is using the minus of log of my hypothesis if my class label is 1. Similarly, minus of log 1 minus hypothesis function if my class value is 0. So this is what I have implemented in my cost function here, and the code is here. This is my log function. This is taking transpose of a matrix. This is again log function and again transpose of a matrix. Lastly, we are multiplying this using the dot function. Now similarly, we are computing theta, which is using another variable named alpha. This is called the learning rate. And after we have done this, we go for extracting our features. Now we're using the frequency dictionary, okay, which we had actually, built using the build frequency function. We take the frequency dictionary and all the words in our tweet, we look how many times each has occurred and add them. You can see we are adding them here and we are adding them here for our positive label and for our negative label. and there's a bias term that we have put so that unless all the tweets are 0, we get the value here 0 and again 0. We don't actually have a model which has zeros in it. Now we test our training data. So I've just put one tweet with all our frequency dictionary and it gives me a value of this. Now try to understand what all these three numbers mean. Usually when we get a data set, we have a lot of features and columns. Let's say Iris data set, it has 6, 7 columns having all numbers. But here we just have text data. These three numbers are actually feature set that we have built using, just as I said, build frequency function and extract features function. Now build frequency function builds a dictionary having words as keys and the number of times they have occurred in the corpus as values, which I had also shown before. So we extract features and some of these values are the features that we have extracted for positive and negative words. Now you can see that if I have built an hypothesis function like this, so I have my weights or weight vectors as b1, b2 and b3, where I've already defined b1 as 1 and b2 and b3 are defined, not defined, but calculated here. And we have x1 and x2 as our features that are positive and negative words in feature set. Now we are training our model using all of the frequency function, the extracting function, the gradient descent function. You can see we are using the gradient descent function here to get the values of my cost and theta. Similarly, we are using the extract feature function to get all the features. Now we have built a predict tweet, basically a function which predicts the class of the tweet. And again, it's using my extract feature and sigmoid function. Now we finally have our test logistic regression function that is taking my test values or maybe the test features and again the classes of those test features, my frequency dictionary and lastly the theta that we have computed. Now you can see that I've used the text logistic regression function and it gives me a accuracy of 0.995, basically 99.5% of accuracy, which is very high. Again, I have finally defined a predict tweet function where you can just send your tweet and it returns you with positive sentiment, neutral sentiment, or negative sentiment. And let's say I have defined my tweet as it is so hot today, but it is the perfect day for a beach party. And when I send this into my pre or maybe predict tweet function, I can see that it is returning me with a positive sentiment. So with this, the first part of the course where you build a logistic regression model from scratch for sentiment analysis is complete.